Thank you so much, Dr. Catherine. I think everybody in this room agrees we want a better Kenya. My next speaker on stage will be Dr. Helen Ogalo. Dr. Helen Ogalo is an engineer with the Maryland Department of Transport. He also serves as a professor at the University of Maryland. Karibu, Daktari.
Thank you for coming here, and I welcome our guests, although some have left. Dr. Maronga, it's good to see you again after a long time. I'm here to speak about what I do, what I've done for some time now, about 20 years. I work for the state, and my area of emphasis is traffic control design. I don't know how many people know here that if you just go and pave a road and you don't put those signs, you don't put those pavement on the road, it's not a road. Because a road that cannot control how traffic use it is not really a road, and that is the emphasis of what I do. My concern, which has been troubling me a lot, first of all, is equity and inclusion in the provision of roads in Kenya. You look at some areas, you find that they are really well equipped in terms of the network of roads. But you go to other places, you have to walk long distances to get to a place where there's a road that you can use. So at one time, I'm also a member of engineers, professional engineers in Kenya. So I presented a paper at one of the conferences, and I mentioned this concerning the roads. And one of the things that I did was to look at, let's say, the population density and compare with the percentage of mileage of roads that were in those areas. And when you look at that, you find that there's a lot of inequity in that. For example, I want to just give one example here that might be useful for us. If you compare, for example, Kirinyaga County and Murang'a County, the population density is 413, that is for Kirinyaga, and 419, that is for Murang'a. But the percentage of the road network in Kirinyaga is 1.4. That is taking the network of the roads in Kirinyaga compared to the total network or the total mileage that is there. It's only 1.4%. But Murang'a has 2.4. So you can see there is a difference there. Yet their population density is about the same. I compared also Kiambu and Kisii. The population density in Kisii is in Kiambu is 952, and that one in Kisii is 958. But the network in Kisii is 1.4%, while the network in Kiambu is 3.4. Basically, what I'm trying to say here is that we know what road does. If somebody is sick and you want to take this person to the hospital and the network is not good, there's a very likelihood that this person might end up dying just because he could not be taken to the hospital in time. So for us to be in a position where we can distribute what the government is providing, then it means that there should be some equity in the way these amenities are provided. And my hope, Daktari, is that when you reach that space, which I know you are going to be there, then this will be taken into account. Because a person who is sick in Kisii is not better than a person who is sick in Lokichogio, somewhere there. So we want to be able to provide, as a government, to provide for everybody who is there, to make sure that they can be given equal provisions. The other area of my concern is traffic fatalities. That is one of the things that I also do. Here in Maryland, for example, I looked at another statistics which can help us to understand what I'm talking about. We find that the number of vehicles, the total number of vehicles that are in Maryland is about 5 million. That one is, I'm looking at the statistic called 2022. Also, the number of vehicles in Kenya about that time is about 4.5 million. Yet the number of fatalities in Kenya is about 4,000 compared to 500, about 500 and something in Maryland. You remember that people who are involved in fatalities are majority progressive, rich people who have some money. And in the end, we are losing a lot of people like that who could be enhancing the development through those. My thought is that this should be a focus for the government, that funds be made available, and not only funds, but programs be put in place that can allow these fatalities to be reduced. Even if they can be reduced by a half, that would be something that would be helpful. So it is my hope that when you get there, these are issues that will be looked into. Thank you.
Thank you. Asante sana. Next on stage, I'm going to welcome Joseph Nyakundi Mecha. It's my honor to introduce him. We all know him as a community leader here. He's very well respected. He's the CEO of Mecha Financial Group and a seasoned financial expert with nearly 20 years of experience, recognized as a member of the $1 Million Round Table and a certified financial fiduciary. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Joseph Mecha. Karibu sana.
Good evening, everyone. Matiang'i he? Matiang'i ha? Arambe! Arambe! Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Kenyans, distinguished guests, the sixth, Dr. Fred Matiang'i. You know, I said in some forum yesterday that I already bought champagne. I'm ready to pop that 2027. My name is Joseph Nyakundi Mecha, a proud son of Kenya, a husband, a father, a business leader, and a committed community organizer in the DMV area. So tonight, I rise not only with pride, but with purpose. As a Kenyan, or as Kenyans in the diaspora, we know the price of progress. Personally, I came to this country, I immigrated to this country in the year 2000. You know, you remember those, except the Gen Zs, it was during the KANU era. You know what that meant. Our country, Kenya, is sliding to those dark times. We have built in this country, we have struggled, we have persevered. And like many back home, we yearn for leadership that reflects the values we hold dear. Integrity, discipline, vision, and results. Dr. Fred I've watched him. Personally, I went to school in Kenya. I went to Moi University. I was a teacher at Kisumu Boys High School. From there, I became an education officer in Vihiga district before relocating here. Dr. Matiang'i became Minister for Education. As an education officer, it was difficult to even transfer teachers. When he started the delocalization policy, most of the teachers, everybody thought it will not work. But guess what? It worked. That's why I stand before you this evening to wholeheartedly endorse the 6th Dr. Fred Matiang'i as the next president of the Republic of Kenya. Dr. Matiang'i is not a stranger to results. He's a man of action. The Ministry of Education, you go to Kenya these days, school buses are painted yellow. Yes. The only minister I remember who took action and people respected those actions is John Mishuki, right? Remember John Mishuki? Yes. He brought order to the Ministry of Education. He delivered digital transformation in ICT. These days we have in Kenya content creators everywhere, right? Because of him. He restored confidence in our internal security systems. I remember when he was Minister for Interior, we couldn't hear of terrorist attacks in Kenya. He fought corruption, not with words, but with systems, with laws, and with fearless execution. He's a leader who believes in service, not self-interest. A public servant who shows up early, works late, and delivers every time. I was watching some of the clips. Dr. Matiang'i would show up. I think I saw somewhere, he showed up somewhere in Kurueni at 5 in the morning. People were fighting. Some people were fighting over land. They couldn't get even title deeds. But he was able to fix that problem. As a community leader in the diaspora, I can say without hesitation, Kenya needs him now more than ever. We are tired of recycled politics. We are tired of empty promises. We are tired of impunity. You can see what is happening in Kenya. Young people. Recently, somebody says, shoot them in the leg. As if Kenya does not have a constitution. We are a constitutional democracy. We are tired of empty promises. We are tired of impunity. We are ready for a Kenya that works, for the mama mboga, the graduate hustling for opportunity, the farmer seeking fair markets, and the diaspora longing to invest with confidence. Dr. Matiang'i is not a perfect man, but he is proven. He doesn't seek power for power's sake. He seeks to restore dignity to leadership and hope to our people. So tonight, I ask you to do more than listen. I ask you to engage. I ask you to stand with courage. I ask you to believe again. Let's believe in our motherland. Let's believe in Kenya. Let us organize. Let us mobilize and make sure we go home, campaign. Let us activate our networks. Let us support this campaign. In the diaspora, we need to speak with one voice. Let's bring home leadership that delivers. Dr. Matiang'i is ready. So we are. Thank you, and God bless Kenya.
Thank you so much. Today I've learned one thing. Ukisema harambe, tunasema? Thank you, Mecha. Thank you so much. On stage, I'm going to welcome my co-host again, Karanja Maura, who is an educator and long-term community leader in Baltimore. We all know that in 2022, he made history by running for Senate, elevating the visibility of Kenyan American community in Maryland politics. I think he's the best person to welcome tonight, our keynote speaker. Karibu sana Bwana Maura.
It's my honor, my big honor. A lot has been said. Today is not about me. Today is about the future of Kenya. We are at crossroads right now. And with no further ado, I'm going to take this moment to ask you to give a hard applause as I invite Dr. Fred Matiang'i.
Thank you very much indeed. Good evening. I elected to speak from here, and I told the organizers to indulge me because proximity is very important. I want to be close to you as I engage with you. First of all, allow me to take this opportunity to thank the Lord for all of you wonderful people, especially the leaders of this DMV area. We had a meeting last night and had some dinner. I had an opportunity to listen to quite a number of you, and because we have been interacting, many of you have become very close friends, and we are always engaging. I will explain shortly what I intend to do in the next 1 year, 1.5 years. I am going to be on a listening mission, just such as I am today, meeting Kenyans in groups of 100 to 150 maximum, to have conversations with people about our country and about the thoughts I have and what I think would happen in our country. I'm not doing so because I do not know, or I do not have ideas of my own on what I think would happen. But I'm doing so because, quite frankly, I think a time has come for us to also change even the paradigms of how we manage leadership and how we engage public service, as it were. So I thank you very sincerely for this listening caucus this evening. That's how I'm looking at it. I have come here to listen. We need to change the top-bottom approach to public affairs, where leaders talk all the time, we give lectures all the time as if we are the ones who know and others don't know, when in actual fact the people we are supposed to serve are yourselves, and you have ideas and you know what you want to happen to your country. But for the short time I'm going to be here, I'm very, very grateful to you wonderful people for the time you have taken to be here. I'm happy that I've met some of you I've not seen for a long time. I think the 2 years I've spent at the bank, I didn't have an opportunity to move around, obviously because of the constraints of work. But now, since I started having these listening activities in the US and having meetings, I met a group of about 150 people in Atlanta, just like yourselves, the other day in Texas, and now today I'm meeting with you, mainly leaders from this general area. So there are many things I could say, but Kathy, you speak for me in more ways. And Dr. Gola, the same thing. You speak for me too. And I'll try as much as I can, if possible, to respond to some of the issues that you have raised and some of the points you have. But let me begin at this particular with this, because I think I have a responsibility as a public leader to say that, or as an aspiring public leader to say that. Chinua Achebe, long time ago, before even some people in this audience were born, wrote a very small book entitled The Trouble with Nigeria. And the opening sentence of that book was, "The trouble with Nigeria is simply and squarely a failure of leadership." There's nothing wrong with Nigeria. There's nothing wrong with Nigerian water, Nigerian weather, or anything else. He said it's simply a failure of leadership. I think the first thing I would like to do tonight is something very practical that I've been dealing with in my own personal conversations with people since I came here. There are roughly, I think, about 300,000 or so Kenyans in the US, Balos, isn't it? About 300,000 Kenyans. When it came to registering to vote, probably about 10,000 or so registered to vote out of those 300,000 Kenyans. There are about 2 or 3 polling stations. And even then, when it came to the actual voting itself, I don't think 3,000 Kenyans voted in 2022. So let me begin by saying this to you. And even we, as the leaders or aspiring leaders, we can't love your money and the remittances that you're making, but we don't love your contribution. My first challenge to you, wonderful people, is that you need to participate in electing the leaders of Kenya, so that then you can hold people to account. So because I'm a presidential candidate, I took it upon myself to begin conversations with people on how we can make this happen. And this morning I was talking to the people at the mission, and Mr. Mwaura, we agreed that you are going to form a small team that brings together leaders and representatives from other cities in the US, so that we can complete a proposal on how we can increase the polling stations in the US from the current 3 to 10 or 15, and then begin a process of sensitizing the Kenyans who are here to participate in the electoral process. Because, my brothers and sisters, whatever we do, unless we are participating in making that decision on who is going to make decisions for us, I mean, what are we going to talk about if you are not participating? We can only whine and dine and complain about it. And I'm going to tell people in Nairobi, for instance, that if the middle class in Kenya actually wanted to change the country, they can change the country. Going to Karen Club and having drinks at Karen Club is good, but it will not get us to where we want to go. Participating in the process will get us there. We can stay on X, it's a good forum, we can engage, yes, but voting, actually voting and going to vote makes a difference, because that way then you'll be able to take decisions that affect the way in which your country is managed. So my challenge to you, leaders, is that please follow up on this discussion we had with people at the mission to complete a proposal that will be looked at by the IEBC. On front, as leaders who are outside of government, we have already started a process of both petitioning the IEBC and also with a perspective of going to court if need be, to see to it that we have more polling stations here in the US so that you guys can vote. Because it's not, if there was a polling station here tonight in Baltimore, there are more people here who would vote than all those who voted in 2022 from the US in the first place. So this is something I think we need to work on. That's where we need to start from in terms of our participation and so on. So let me go to my brief remarks tonight, and then I am looking forward more to interacting with you and answering questions and giving you my perspectives. And Kathy, I'm going to answer your questions, the ones you asked me about my experience in public service and what I think I'll do differently, as it were. Now, there's nothing wrong with our country. That's where I'll begin. I am one of those people who had the privilege of serving my country in the position of a cabinet minister for 10 years, 2 terms with President Uhuru Kenyatta. That was one of the best times in my life. With all the challenges and the crises, in the Ministry of Interior, for example, 2/3 of the time you operate on adrenaline because you sleep with phones on either side of your bed. There is no single night that you'll go through the night without those phones ringing, and none of them calls you to wish you happy birthday or to wish you a good night's sleep. It's a crisis after crisis after crisis. A dam has burst out in Solai, in Nakuru, and it has swept down families. Nobody knows, even at that time when the regional commission doesn't know how many families have been swept down. And that is 11 o'clock at night. From then on, there's no night for you because you have got to gather the country together and make, decisions. Some crazy fellows have probably crossed the border and we have been tracing them and we have lost them. And chances are that they are likely to be terrorists and nobody can trace them. We have lost them a bit somewhere between one point of the border and another. You cannot go to sleep because you don't know where they are headed. Because if they get there before you get them, you know what's going to happen. So have the time. That is the kind of life that you lead. But I want to say this, and this is my testimony. I say this very sincerely from the bottom of my heart. I thank the Lord for every minute, every hour I served. And as I said, it's the best time in my life. We were not the most, perfect or ideal group of people, but by God's grace, we were able to do much. And then I got to know the country in ways I never knew it before I went to public service, and enjoy and love my people more than I loved them before I came in, because I came to go into people's lives, you meet ordinary people and their experiences on a day-to-day basis. Some of them are heart-wrenching, others are, inspiring, but it's all in a day's work, and it's a very exciting opportunity to serve. And for those of you who are with us last night, I spent a lot of time telling you about some of those experiences and how great they are and so on. So, since independence, nearly 63 years now, we've had self-rule, we've had 3 administrations, actually 4. This is the 5th administration. And in addition to peaceful transfer of power, we have been relatively stable, except for when we have had challenges such as we did in 2007, and when we have had security challenges of one kind or the other. We are the anchor state in East Africa, and on the Horn of Africa, that's how we are perceived. We are the most influential and probably consequential environment within the Horn of Africa. Believe me when I say this to you, because of my exposure and travel, we are some of the hardest working people on the continent. And, we have one of the most educated populations. The reason why people choose us for investment and so on is the leverage we have is the human resource capacity that we have in our country. So by and large, because I always start by telling people that even when we have political contestations and challenges as a country and as a group of people, the last thing we can do is talk down our country, because our country is our only home on earth, and we have a patriotic duty and a citizenship responsibility to always ensure that we draw a line between country and the leaders or the administrations that will come and go and that will change from time to time. Our country, by and large, is okay. The fundamentals of our country, right from independence, are such that we could do even much better than we are doing right now, which I'm going to come to shortly. But I have to say this to you, and if I didn't, I will be lying to you. We have very fundamental challenges in our country right now. I, as somebody who has served before and served in a very sensitive responsibility, I hate to break it to you, but this is the truth. I think our country is very close to the cliff, and we are facing very, very serious challenges. When you see the level of violence in the country, when you see citizens hijacking a police vehicle and driving it around, the anger and pain and frustration down below is unprecedented. I have not seen it before. Those of you who have come from Kenya recently, you can bear me out on this. The population is angry, frustrated, and especially disappointed because of unfulfilled promises, constant piling of lie after lie, failure in critical sections of our society and our economy. You know the challenges we are facing now in the education sector, nearly chaotic. No one knows what's going to happen next. Capitation not going to schools. I am told, because I speak to a lot of principals these days, that the schools are going to close a bit early because of budgetary challenges and so on. All these are signs of state failure. But the one that worries me most, and the one that should worry you most, is one, that level of violence. And you are Kenyans, I'll be very candid with you. How Mungiki, how Sungusungu, and all these violent groups came up is they started, first of all, because the former state failed, the informal state took over. So as a result of the violence and the recklessness that we have seen from the formal state, the vigilante industry is going to start growing. And if the vigilante industry grows, it means we are setting and moving to an element of anarchy. That happens when our leaders are making excuses, and saying, it is this tribe or that tribe. It is the Kikuyus who are trying to destroy government and so on. I said in public the other day when I was in Kiambu that, this has been essentially a history of excuses. In the first year of the administration, they said it's Uhuru and his administration that left us empty coffers, that didn't do anything, and so on. Whole year. The following year, it was Raila and Asmio and the Luos who are bringing maandamano and causing problems. Whole year gone. The third year, it is ni Wakikuyu wanataka kuharibu serikali. The fourth year, it will be ni Wakisi na Wakamba na Waluya wanataka kuharibu serikali, and so on and so forth. That's why I said there's nothing wrong with our country, except that we elected through a democratic process incapable leaders who clearly, sometimes we wonder whether they had a plan to govern or they had a plan to do something else. Because if they had a plan to govern, we will not be in the state in which we are. And now, I want to answer the first question, Kathy, you asked. What would be the difference? I want to be absolutely frank with you. I am here and I am interested in running because I believe that I will offer better management and better coordination of government than what we are seeing. And why? I said the other day in a TV interview that after 10 years of service as a minister, and the last 4 of them spent as coordinator of government activities, I understand government almost like the back of my hand. That what actually needs to be done. Kenyans are not looking for a government to cook 1 million chapatis for them. They are not looking for, Kenyans are not looking for a government to make the bed for them or raise the children for them. Or, the Kenyans are looking for a government that will do one thing. Just wake up in the morning, go put your ass on the chair and work. That's all. Do your work. And don't make excuses. When you're supposed to do the work, don't make excuses and say it's so and so, it's so and so. My commitment, and I've been telling fellow Kenyans that since I put my name on the ticket and I put my hand on this, I'm saying this, hold me to account. I will not make excuses. I will not shirk. I will not hide. I will not fudge. I will not bend from responsibility. I will face responsibility head on and do the right thing. And there's no problem, because you see in Kenya, you have a fantastic institution called the public service. The public service in Kenya has been the basis on which, as a country, we have stood. People go into the public service, they do a fantastic job, Many of them are very professional and very committed people who need, and that's my second point, Kathy, who need trust, leadership that they can trust. Because the trust deficit in the administration is uncoverable. The distance between what they say and the truth is uncoverable. That people need trustworthy leaders, people they can trust. That if they tell you this is going to happen, it is going to happen. That's why I don't want to spend so much time criticizing others. I would like to spend more time saying, in my view, we would like to have a trustworthy government, a government you can believe, a credible government. Whether it's foreign policy, you know, our country, Kenya, over the years has been known for three things: stability, reliability, and credibility. That you know what we tell you is credible as a government. The reason why we are an anchor state in the Horn of Africa and in East Africa is because our neighbors trust us. Over the years, they have trusted us. The largest UN office in the south is in Nairobi. We have very credible relations with the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. How on earth can we be the ones arresting opposition leaders and returning them at night to their countries? These things are hurtful to our image as a country. They affect our citizens, especially those of you who live outside the country. If today you were a consultant, a Kenyan consultant in Khartoum, working for a UN agency, how would you be comfortable when that government probably thinks you are a citizen of a hostile country? And it is unnecessary, the things we need to do. So, Kathy, I think the difference would be, I am interested in, and I believe there are many people in Kenya who are looking forward to honest and trustworthy leaders, people they can believe and people they can trust. All of you wonderful people grew up in an environment where you know viongozi wa kitaifa, wakubwa wa serikali wakizungumza mahali pale waseme kuanzia mwaka ujao mpango wa elimu utakuwa namna hii. Kila mtu anaamini hakika hivyo ndivyo itakuwa. Lakini tuseme ukweli, leo watu wakisimama pale, ahadi tumepata ahadi kama maelfu sijui 15 na hakuna hata moja, nothing. In 2022, just before the elections, I was invited to a meeting by Archbishop Ole Sabit and the Anglican bishops. And I spoke to them, this video clip that has been doing rounds all over. The bishops asked me questions about, you know, the budget, saying 5 billion, 2 billion to see border, I don't know which billion is to who. They asked me, I said, these are lies. You're just being lied to. I said that 3 years ago. And Kenyans, it has come to pass. And I said, the Chief Justice invited us to a meeting in Naivasha of the National Council for Administration of Justice. Everybody was in the room, including judges of the Supreme Court and the DPP, the entire justice sector was there. Then I was asked, including the late Chebukati who attended the meeting, I was asked this question about money and campaign finance. And I said, you know, this wash business we are seeing here, some of these people doing well on the campaign trail are people who are on the Interpol list for wash and money laundering. If we are not careful as a country, we are going to launder into elective offices up to 40% of these characters. And we will pay a price for it. Today, my colleagues, those of you who are in the finance sector, you know we have been listed. 3 weeks ago, the EU also listed us as an insecure financial transaction environment. It has never happened since independence. And the reason why I was very surprised about that EU one is that we are the only country in East Africa on that list. I want to be diplomatically sensitive. Sitaki kuongea mambo mengine niseme, unajua hata Burundi haiko huko. Ta Somalia haiko huko. Sisi tu ndio tuko huko kwa East Africa. Sisi ndio tumeandikwa hapo. Tunafanya ujeuri wa fedha pia tunafanya. So these are the issues. This is the reason why I would like to run for president, because I believe our country deserves and should get better our country deserves and should get better leadership, in my view. And you're not going to bring it from Mars or from Jupiter. The people are there. They are willing and ready to serve their country. What they need are leaders who will go and work. I have not arrived from heaven myself, and you know, I am not one of those who carry around a big Bible ambayo inaweza kukuangusha. I go to churches there every day, singing songs, hymns, trying to pretend that I am holy. I am a sinner like you. It's just that I am a realistic sinner who will say, who would like to do his work and get his work done. That is it. Who will not make excuses when I'm supposed to deliver services, and who is willing to level with the people of Kenya and tell them the truth, as it were. We know when Gen Z happened, the demonstrations against Finance Bill 2024 in June 2024. First of all, I asked very many people, and you know, the privilege I have is that you cannot hoodwink me. I think, as someone said in this room, the late John Michuki and myself are probably the most consequential ministers of security in independent Kenya. I was there for 5 years. I know our capacity and I know what we will do. How was our parliament overrun in broad daylight, and parliament is 2 kilometers from State House? So, and then MPs were scampering for life. What is shocking to me to this day, honestly speaking, and you Kenyans, I mean, this is something you should ask yourself questions and answer. No one has asked the question, what actually happened and why? Because in ordinary circumstances, we should have had an all-parties parliamentary inquiry, where all parties come together, have a parliamentary inquiry. In fact, if I was president that time, I would have worked with the leader of majority and worked with the speaker to have an all-parties parliamentary inquiry. Why? It would have given me an opportunity as president to listen to the Gen Z and to have an opportunity for them to ventilate so that I understand what is actually going on, have the parents come there, and it would have given us an opportunity as a country to do deep dive and soul searching on what we had not done that caused Gen Z to get to that point. So, we did not do it because viongozi wa kitaifa think they know everything. Then 25th June came, 2025. We lost more lives. Then Sabasaba came. We lost more lives. And my brothers and sisters, we cannot continue that way. That is not how we are supposed to live. And in all that, you can see irresponsibility, dereliction of duty, recklessness. And it's best demonstrated by the language you have heard leaders use and the sentiments that you hear leaders using. I was shocked in this day and age, 63 years after independence. There's somebody who talks about tribes. Where do you live? I mean, those things, nobody talks about those things anymore. I asked some friends last night where we were having dinner, which one of us goes to hospital in Kenya and you are sick, you are very, very sick, you are shivering in your car, but then you ask people, please check on the list, what's the tribal background of the doctor on duty before I go in? Because you just get in, you are treated, and sometimes you don't even know the ethnic background of the fellow who's treating you. But until you are treated, you go away. Why should it matter? When you walk to a bank, for example, in Kenya, you go to Equity or a Family Bank, you want services, you go to the teller. Do you first of all ask, by the way, where do you come from? Before you ask your money. It's transactional. You just fill out your papers or you discuss your loan and you go away. It doesn't matter anywhere else. Why should it matter when it comes to making decisions on the leadership of the country? It's because some of us tuko na shida fulani sijui ni ya kurogwa ya huko nyuma, which we should never ever ever as a country accept. And that's why the young people in this audience who are listening to me, Gen Z is an opportunity to step into the third wave or the third generation of leadership in Kenya, modern Kenya. This is what is going to give us this thinking and this approach is what gives us a modern country. A country where the content of your character matters more than your surname. You know, the values you hold, the delivery of services is more important than your surname. Because all those primitive things where your surname is supposed to lead you somewhere, so that if your name is Omolo, then I make a decision whether or not you should pass through this gate. That time is gone. And Kenyans, let us not only resist, let us reject that kind of attitude. So I'll speak about this until the cows come home, but this is my vision. That one, we can put up, and I can promise we can put up a credible government that can be trusted, that will ensure the stability of the country, that is reliable. We will not do some of those things that will hurt the image of our country. When I have another time, I will tell you about some of these challenges that we had, even when I was Minister for Security, when some of our neighbors were trying those kinds of things, and we told them, we will not solve your problems. Your problems will be solved there. Don't drag us into your quarrels. Everyone is free to come to Kenya and have fun, as long as they don't break our laws. You break our laws, that's a different story. But if you're just coming to do business in Nairobi, have a girlfriend in Nairobi, do whatever, you are free. Do business here, put up a whatever, that's fine. That's what our country is supposed to be. Because we want to be honorable and respectable members of the international community. And we are signatories to all those conventions, including the protection of human rights and stuff like that. That's what I hope we would do as a government. We would sit down and reorganize the education sector that is chaotic. Imagine, how can you not be frustrated if you are a young university student? You don't know when you're going to have help to start with. You don't know when the semester is beginning or ending. You do not know whether you're going to do exams or not. Statements fly left, right, and center from the ministry on your fate. You don't know which one to believe. The one that came out today, the one that was made by the minister, or the one that was made by the president. You don't know. Chaotic. How are you supposed to live your life? Yet, you know, in a sector like that, you're supposed to have a sense of predictability to move forward. I will advance this argument, especially when we come to the campaign proper. We waived examination fees when we were in government. Because I can tell you, as a Minister for Education, when we looked at the budget lines and the allocations to the Examination Council and what we have in the budget in the ministry, there was no point really of levying examination fees, especially when you know it is actually going to be a wastage issue, it's going to be an inclusion issue, it's going to be a completion issue. For the educators in the room, like Dr. Weche, you know what that means is that there are people who are not going to do exams because they can't afford 5,700. And if they stop there, that is wastage. All the resources we are putting to educate them is wasted. And these people's lives is messed up. It means it is going to exclude some people. That's why it's an inclusion issue. Only those who are well-to-do will be able to do that. It means it's also a completion issue, because you see, you're going to start having dropouts as a result of this kind of bottlenecks. These are barriers to educational completion, as it were, and the educators in the room will understand what I mean. That is a way that affects the human resources we have for our country. I don't know whether I can be crazy enough to do those kinds of things in society. We would like to run a government that will pay attention to that, because that is, for us in Kenya, education is our gold mine, because that is how we train, and that is the foremost resource we have, and that is the leverage we have for growth and development. Go anywhere in this world, anywhere in this world, you will find Kenyans there, educated Kenyans working in all these international organizations. Sylvia, my colleague, is here. From next week, I'll call her my former colleague when my notice for the bank expires, from the World Bank. And they will tell you, there, we have several economists. We are actually one of the few African countries, I can say that authoritatively, that have contributed significantly to the capacities that you have, even at the bank here. It's because of our education. That is one thing we cannot miss. We need to address it, and we'll sort it out. We will secure the country and ensure that, you know, it is, yani ni aibu ya ajabu. the people are walking around in the capital city of our country, in the capital, not then in the capital city of our country, carrying rungus and sticks and kicking doors, businesses, and so on. There are banana republics that are better than that. We cannot allow that. My brothers and sisters, let us all come together and ensure this does not happen as we go forward, so that we strengthen ourselves and strengthen our country. But you know, finally, and this is the last segment of my remarks tonight, I have not lost hope, and I will not lose hope in my country. And I want to ask you, wonderful people, because when there are challenging times like this, it's very easy to be tempted to lose hope, to give up on your country. And for you especially who are here in the United States of America, like Kathy said, you go there, kukidoka, unarudi. Then you say, acha nikae tu. Then you are not going back, you are here, and everything seems to work one way or the other here. You drive to the seaside and have a nice weekend, get your friends on Thanksgiving Day and have a barbecue and stuff like that. That's fine. But look, even this one was built and it got here because people made sacrifices. So it is our turn to make sacrifices for our generation, so that our children and our children's children will find a Kenya that is like this one, so that other people will also come to our country and never wish to leave, because they will find that our country is also very nice, and it can happen. And the reason why I have this hope is because I can speak with authority. I know my country, I know my people, I know my fellow citizens. We are better people than this. My country is better than this. What we are seeing and the behavior of the people you see in administration and so on is not who we are as a people. That does not reflect the true picture of Kenya. I don't know about you, but look, my friends, I have been in the public service. I have seen police officers cross swollen rivers with examination sheets on their heads or on the side, walking through. They're not paid additional fees for that, protecting those papers and ensuring that those papers are not messed up. During Corona, I went to some place beyond Embakasi to thank some Kenyan women who had decided on their own volition, nobody asked them, government did not ask them, to cook for police officers who were manning the roadblock at that time. Two of them lawyers in Machakos. They had come together, organized themselves, and they were supplying food to those police officers, cooking for them every day. They actually created a makeshift kitchen. The government did not give them budget to do that. They volunteered, they mobilized women, and they were cooking for the police officers there every day. I went to Limuru at 1 a.m. at night, one time, with my colleague Mutai Kawe, who was then Minister for Health, to a police roadblock. And I found women from the local shops serving those police officers with tea and bringing bread. Government did not ask them. The Kenya Association of Manufacturers, Phyllis Wakiaga and Company, putting private sector people together to contribute water tanks for police stations and soap so that police officers can wash their hands to deal with infection at that particular time. I have seen with my eyes how Kenyans turn up when we have a disaster, donating blood, when we call for food donations, when we have a challenge. Kenyans turning up in their numbers to contribute food. During Corona, we wouldn't have succeeded were it not for the big support we got from the private sector. The private sector team, chaired by Madam Karuku from East African Breweries, and bringing together all these people, committed, attending meetings every day without asking for sitting allowance, and guiding us and working with the government to secure the lives of our people. We are a great country, and we can do many things. I have worked with public servants who will not ask a question if you ask them to come to work over the weekend.
as long as you are trustworthy enough, you respect them and take their advice and don't politicize their decisions or try to create funny games of parachuting people because they come from your tribe and promote them and that kind of rubbish. Public servants who are committed and focused on serving their country. Our country is great. We are better people. So because of that, don't lose hope. We will rise again. We will cross the bridge. And this momentary challenge we have because of some challenges with some of our leaders, we will overcome it and build and move forward. After COVID, we said we will build big and better, and we will go forward. We are the long distance running country. So we are resilient. We will do well as we move forward. So all I ask you, my brothers and sisters, is this. Let's go beyond these nice conversations we have. Mwaura, let us finish that petition. Let us have additional polling stations here in the US. Wake up in the morning and vote and determine your leaders. Do not complain and write nice stories about what is working and what's not working. It is good to say that because we need those views. But you could actually make it even better by casting a vote and making a decision, and encourage your brothers and sisters back home to participate in the electoral process, to reject violence, reject the temptations to be divided, and reject all this kasumba mbaya that is being brought to us because of incompetence. You know, when people are incompetent and they are not able to work, they make excuses, you know, from morning up to evening. The first time they open their mouth, they say it is Mwaura. It was, bro, you know, it is Mwaura who's not doing his work. Next time they tell you it is Major, you know, and so on and so forth. And the work is looking at them. The challenges are looking at them. They are there every day. And all they need to do is just go to work, sit down, put people together and work. So that is how I think Kathy will make a difference. And I am committed. You asked me about my experience in public service. I've said it was a wonderful experience, and I succeeded because I trusted the people I worked with, and they trusted me. And every single day was essentially a celebration of our nationhood. Everywhere you go, whether you meet rural folk or people, you know, sometimes I was telling some friends last night that one thing that I am going to have to learn to live with in this thing I'm now doing, that, you know, I never thought I would actually first of all go into politics and start campaigning and looking for votes. Now I'm here. Sometimes it's an emotional experience, to be honest with you. You know, like when I went to Kiambu, you know, Kenyans are really wonderful people. You meet these women, these ordinary women. Some of them are actually walking bare feet. And if you even sit down with them, they actually know what the country needs, and they talk to you very responsibly and very nicely. Those people are not wheeler dealers, they are not cartels, they are not wash guys. They just want a peaceful and stable country. End of story. So, you know, tuache mambo mingi na story mingi. You know, let's get some work done. Now, I keep telling our leaders, you know, every time they are sometimes even criticizing us and saying, oh, it's the opposition that is sponsoring violence. And I tell them, there is nobody in this world called opposition. People have names. Say it is Fred Matiang'i and give the evidence for it. Because even that blanket and general condemnation is part of that laziness and that recklessness and escapist behavior, as it were. Be direct and say who it is who is doing that kind of thing. There is nobody called opposition, as it were. Just say who it is who is supporting and provide the evidence for it. We are a mature country. We are better than this. We can do a lot of good things as a people. So, my wonderful people, join us, those of us who are walking this journey to making Kenya an even stronger, better, much more stable environment where we are all proud to be. Because I can guarantee you and I promise you, if we stick together and work the way we are working, our better days are ahead of us. So, our better days are ahead. So let's work together. I'm asking each one of you, when you have registered to vote for me. But I don't put a full stop there. I put a comma. I say vote for me, comma, and hold me to account. Yeah. And hold me to account, because this, I am not given to those types of stories. I used to enjoy driving in schools even at 6 in the morning and hanging out with the teachers and until the job is done. There isn't anything I cannot do if it is my assignment, if it is my work. And when Kenyans tell me about it, like I've had some of you refer to it tonight, please know this. I wasn't doing you a favor. You paid me to do it. So that is what you paid me to do. I was earning your money every month, and I pray that if you decided to hire me again, I'll be worth your salary. God bless you.
Thank you, sir. We can get seated. All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And actually, I believe those who came here not convinced are convinced. And if you're not, we're going to have more meetings like this to make sure that you get convinced. Dr. Matiang'i has a history that if you Google it, don't listen to Baba Moore or Senator Moore. That's not enough. I'm biased in many ways. Just go check a little bit. Do a little homework. You know, look at the resumes of the people you're dealing with, a number of options. We're going to go to the question session. But there's one thing I want to say before we move on. If you really believe, and I know you do, that this is a journey we have started to State House, you're going to act like you're a person who is already in State House. What do I mean by that? For one, we cannot be carrying those tribalism he mentioned right here. Today, in your own area. Because let people be attracted to us, to this campaign, by the way we behave, the way we act. They're going to say, these people are actually different. Their politics is different. And therefore, they will be able to gravitate to us. The other day, and you've observed interviews of Dr. Matiang'i, he's not accusing others, attacking others, and using language insulting others. That is missing in his interviews. And it's intentional. So I would like us to be intentional also. When we talk to other people, because we will expand this tent. That's how we win. By being very intentional in the way we speak to the people we want to bring to our camp. Lies are not necessary. Attacking others are not necessary. If you have a good history, why are you attacking others? Give them your history. That's all you need to do. And you will be fine. The other thing I'm going to say, and I'm going to apologize saying this, let us not be caught up in our tribal cocoons. That's not going to help. For example, if I'm from, what is it called, Mulima? Mulima. Mulima cannot elect a president on its own. Just like Nyanza can't. For that reason, be very sensitive when you are talking to others and try to bring others in this camp. If we are going to make a good presidency, we have to start acting now like a good presidency. So now we're going to go to question and answers. I'm going to bring my very able secretary, SP. I've never had anybody called Spalatin, by the way. This guy is called Spalatin. Give him a clap, tafadhali.
Good evening once again. Good evening, friends. Let me hear you say, restore Kenya. When I say Matiang'i, Matiang'i, restore Kenya. Restore Kenya. Matiang'i. Now, I have a very difficult task.